Welcome to the Her Story Circle podcast, the podcast that brings you the extraordinary tales of everyday women who are changing the world. I'm your host, Gertrude Mache, and I'd like to acknowledge traditional custodians of the land on which we meet today. I also like to pay my respects to elders, past, present, and emerging. Every week, we dive into the lives, challenges, and triumphs of women from all four corners of the globe. We're here to inspire, enlighten, and connect, sharing stories that uplift and empower. So grab a cup of coffee, settle in, and join us as we explore the incredible journeys of women shaping our future. This is Her Story, where every woman's voice matters. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Her Story Circle. This is Gertrude Mache here in beautiful Melbourne, Australia. And today I am graced with the presence of yet another fascinating woman. Welcome, welcome, welcome to our tribe. Please tell everybody your full name, where you're based, and share your story with us today.
Hello, everybody. My name is Yanira Puy. I'm in Atlanta, Georgia, but I was born and raised in Venezuela. So thank you so much for having me here, Gertrude. It's really amazing to tell my story. I think when you do storytelling, that's how you connect with people. So thank you. And everybody, thank you for being here and listening to my story. So I was born and raised in Venezuela in a little city called Maracaibo. So I'm Maracucha. That's how they say it. And my story, I guess, I was raised in a very nice family with three other siblings. I am the youngest one. So of course, all the time they said to me that I was adopted, that my mom didn't want me in the family, and all that stories just because I was the younger one. But I think that shaped me a little bit, because as I see it now, I'm the more loving person. I am always saying I love you, and I was born and raised with a great family. When I was 18 years old, I came to the United States to learn English. Hopefully, I did a good job. Sometimes, in my speaking engagements, I said, like, yes, sometimes I sound like Sofia Vergara in Modern Family, but I'm just going to tell you what she said. That her husband is like, do you know how smart I sound in Spanish? But anyway, so my first time that I came to the United States to be living here, I was 18 years old. And it was great. I always loved the United States. I always loved the language, but I really wanted to learn it. But something happened while I was here, and it caught my attention by uh, watching your video, Gertrude, your TED Talk. And you talk about isolation. So when I first came here, when I was 18 years old, I really wanted to learn English, and I felt like my parents, they were paying me to be here and learn English. So I decided not to have friends from Latin America, where I'm from, but have friends from Asia or from India. Why? Because I really wanted to learn the language and not speak Spanish. But the thing is that I kind of isolated myself. And when I talk about my wellness journey, I always talk about this pivot point, because what happened to me is that I started eating, and I developed an eating disorder, actually an emotional eating disorder. Why? Because I kept eating and eating and eating because I felt like I didn't have friends. At that time, I didn't know that, being healthy, it meant relationships, exercise, food, the purpose in life, so many things that determine the way that you feel and your health and your well being. But so I isolated myself from the people that I really knew and that I wanted to be with. So I started eating to to fill that void, that lack of relationships. So I was 18 years old, and I think, if I tell my psychologist or my coach or my doctor, because at that time I said, you know what, I'm going to heal myself. And I was 18 years old. Now I know that you don't even develop your brain until you're like 25 years old. But I really knew I was stuck there. But, fast forward, I heal myself and I recover from being bulimic. But my relationship with food was different, of course, because I didn't want to gain all this weight, because I was gaining weight and I was throwing up so I could be slim. Fast forward some years, I came back. So I went back to Venezuela after learning English. And then I came back when I was 26 years old to get my master's degree from Emory University. It was great. I felt like I had everything in my life. I was going to school again. I was getting my MBA from a very, very good school. And I had friends, I had a tribe, and I was feeling really good. So when I was almost done with my 2 years, my MBA, they offered me a position in Western Union. So I was really excited, like 6-figure job, signing bonus, relocation bonus. I felt like, this was the best time of my life. But suddenly they took the offer away, the job offer. And I think like my world shattered at that point. And they took the offer away because they saw my visa, and I didn't have the visa that it was required. So that got me into, I wouldn't say deep depression, but I isolated myself again. Like I didn't want to talk to people anymore. And the reason was I didn't want to talk to people because I felt ashamed, because I thought that a job defined me, because I didn't know where I was going. And I isolated myself, and it wasn't even pandemic, but I didn't want to talk to anybody because the question that they would ask was, did you find a job yet? Did you find a job yet? And I felt like I wasn't worth it. Then after a year and a half, I found a job. Yes, perfect. I guess, I got my confidence back. Now I know that a job doesn't define you. But at that point, I was lost. Fast forward some years, it was like 2019, and I started I was living in Colombia. I moved there, I got married, I had the dogs, the stepsons. Amazing. I even had a motorcycle. But I got these terrible headaches and I didn't know what's happening to me. I went to doctor and another doctor, and they would say like, no, well, just take some pills for the pain. And I don't really believe in pills, because I really believe that most of the things that happen to us are rooted in our mind, right? And I decided to work with a therapist, actually an angel therapist. That was amazing. That was really amazing. And I started talking about my problems, and that's when I discovered that the headaches were coming because I was not dealing with my emotions and my relationship with my ex-husband. So that was great. I felt good. I changed careers. I pivoted from 20 years in corporate America. I decided to actually go and get certified as a health coach. I got a master in health coaching. I did many other certifications, and I was living the life. I was really happy. 2020 pandemic came, and I got the chance to help a lot of people online. So that was really interesting, because I was proving myself that I had a gift and I could change people's lives, and I could help people transforming their lives as I had done in the past. But then 2021 came, and I got divorced. I got separated, and I was faced yet another time with a situation that transformed my life. It was pretty tough. It was a challenging situation, and I remember because it was in a weird way. We were living in Colombia. We had the dogs, the house with the pool and everything. And one time I had a husband, I had kids and his kids, and then the other time it was not only my relationship, it was everything around the dreams, the future together, just the little things like having somebody to walk or to just watch a movie with. So it was pretty tough. But at that point, I started thinking, okay, so I have followed a path. Adversity has come in my life so many times, and I have overcome every time, every situation. And that's how I came, this coach that guide women through divorce and through breakup, because every time that I went through every situation, I was doing something. So I developed a system that guides other women.
Hmm. What a journey, a roller coaster journey you've been on.
Yes.
So many major life changes have happened in a very short space of time. So let's unpack your story. How did divorce, menopause, and burnout reshape your identity and how you felt about yourself?
I have to tell you that I'm still working on it. It's
Yeah.
a work in progress because so many changes happened to me in so little time. So when I got separated, I was living in Colombia. So suddenly, Gertrude, am I pronouncing your name right?
That's right. It sounds
Okay,
like you have your
Gertrude.
full accent.
With my accent. Okay. So so I got divorced and then I left my home. I got an Airbnb. We had a house, like a country house with a pool. So everything it's happening, right? One of
Yeah.
my dog died. So that happened as well. I moved and then I'm packing my life, my 12-year life. I'm packing it in suitcases,
Understand.
and it was really a tough situation because it was not only my separation, the divorce, it was losing everything that I thought my life was going to be. I mean, just the chance to being a grandmother because of my stepsons. At some point, they were going to marry. Just having somebody to grow all together. So that was happening. I'm packing and I'm moving my life after 12 years in Colombia. I'm moving my life to the United States again.
Mm,
And again, as I see it now, it was great. And as I knew it at that point, I knew it was going to be okay because
yeah.
every time that I was faced with an adversity, I overcame
You
that.
overcame
Right?
it. Yes.
So
So you knew you would bounce back. It was just a matter of time.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I know that you fall on ancestral wisdom when times get tough. What does that look like in your work with women?
Let me see. When you know it was funny because I was watching your TED talk and you talk about Ubuntu, right? I'm not.
Mm.
I don't know. I don't know if I'm saying that
Oh, yeah.
right. And
Yeah.
and you talk a lot about. I mean, Ubuntu is I am because we are, or something like that. And I,
Yes.
you know, in our past we were together as tribe, so every time we come together, especially women, because research says that when women are together with other women and children, our body releases oxytocin. And
Yes.
so I mean, that's a practice that I do. Like every time I'm together speaking with women, or the workshops that I do, the safe spaces, that's something that I incorporate in everything that I do, because I mean, if you want to go, like, how's this saying? If you want to go faster, go alone, but if you want to go further, go with
Go
people.
together.
Yeah,
Yes.
go together. So that's something that I always incorporate in everything that I do, and all the exercises that we bond together, and that's really important.
Yeah, that's having community around you, I think, is one thing that every woman needs.
Mm-hmm.
So, why do you think so many women feel invisible after 40?
I think there are a lot of things going on. When after
Mm,
40, one of the things that can happen, you lose your job, or you, and this is, I mean, I have seen it over and over and over because my target
mm,
it's 40 plus, right? So
right.
one of the things that maybe you lose your job, maybe you get divorced, maybe you are empty nester because if you started younger, your kids are out of your house, right?
Yes.
You start thinking about what's your purpose in life, and I think that's the stage when so and I menopause. I mean, for every woman out there who is listening, I mean, after 40, wow, it takes a toll on you. So there are
Yes.
many things that are going on. You start changing, your mind starts changing. Maybe you don't feel like, okay, they don't appreciate me in my job, or I lost my job. Sometimes when you lose job, you feel like you lose your identity, like I
Yeah.
was telling before, right? When your kids are living, you're losing a big part of you, like an 18-year-old part of you that just
Yeah.
left. Menopause changes you not only physically but mentally, with all the brain fog, the extra body weight, whatever is happening to you. So you kind of feel like either you feel invisible or you want to be invisible because of all the
Yes.
things that are going on with you. So it's more, I think it's more than that. Like maybe you don't want to be seen because you feel lost. That's
Mm,
what I think.
yeah. Wow. So, how do you help your clients to reconnect with their sense of worth and radiance?
It's a journey. First thing, and I'm sure you do know this, but you don't have a magic pill. Usually
Yes.
things don't happen just like this, and you have to do the work, or I'm sorry, you're blessed, or you get to do the work, right? It's not like you have to, you're blessed that you can do the work. But sometimes we want that magic pill. I think I was writing, or I was doing some content creation, and I said, even with the lottery, you have to buy the ticket. So you win the lottery. I mean, always action, action, action is important.
Yeah.
So I work with several things, and what are important, like your mind, your mindset. And I think everything starts with your mind, because the way you think determines the way you feel. The way you feel
Mm,
determines the actions that you take, and the actions that you take determine your life, your future, your goals, whatever you want to achieve. So first, it's a lot of about mindset. I have worked with so many women that come to me and it's like, hey, I want to lose weight, or I want to eat better. We always start with the mindset, and that changes everything, because the problem is not the eating part. Remember my story. I was not eating because I was hungry. I was eating because I felt lonely. Once you
yes.
understand that, then you can start changing. So I work around mindset. I work around emotions, because I think there's a saying, the quality of your life depends on the quality of your emotions, or how you feel. Remember that your emotions are the ones determining the actions that you take. So if I
Mm,
feel sad all day and angry, what are my actions going to be? Like, I'm not going to be here like, oh yes, I'm going to apply for a job, or I'm going to lose some weight. No, I'm like, no, I cannot do it because I'm not good enough. So it is
mm,
important to work on that. Also, I work on the body for everything. I mean, I have seen it in me. when I was dealing with the separation, when I got separated after 7 years, we I hop up on a Zoom call with my ex, and he said three things that shattered my world. And they were, there are three things that keep a marriage together: kids, um, history, and love. We don't have kids together, we don't have enough history, and I don't love you anymore. So
Wow.
at that time, I was like, so like having a heart attack.
Mm.
I wasn't having a heart attack, but I felt like my
Yeah.
world as I knew it was gone, forever
Yeah.
gone. It died. But something that I did, Gertrude, every single day, I woke up, I meditated, mindset, and I didn't stop exercising. It didn't matter. I was doing some of the things that maybe I shouldn't have done. Maybe I was having a glass of wine where I shouldn't have. However, I work on my body because I knew
Mm.
the
Mm.
power of movement. And that helped me so much. So when I work with clients, I invite them to move, to eat right. Because, of course,
Mm.
I mean, maybe we want to eat junk food because it
Yeah.
makes us feel good, but our body needs the energy to
Mm.
overcome the situation. And it's not easy. I told them also to practice resilience. Resilience is a beautiful work, and it's the ability that you, me, and you who are watching this have to bounce back, to recover, and to bounce back even stronger. And I do
Yes.
believe on that.
Oh,
I
that's
Yeah.
beautiful. And it's interesting that we do forget that all these emotions get trapped in our cells, in our body. And as you move, you're releasing a lot of that negative
Mhm.
emotion that you're experiencing when you're going through emotional challenges like this. So
Mhm.
movement is really crucial.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I was reading the Mel Robbins book. Uh, I forgot the name. I can't
Mm.
believe I forgot the name. But she talks about the emotions, and she said, I mean, this is based on research, but emotions are a burst of chemicals that ignite and are absorbed in your body in 6 seconds. So if you let 90 seconds, and this is the 90-second rule, I don't know if you have heard about it, but if you let 90 seconds and do nothing, because this is the problem, like, I don't know, somebody hung the horn, like, move it, and then like, "Yeah, you move," and so I feel all the rage and the angry. But if you do nothing for 90 seconds, they're gonna
Right.
go away. And that, I think, it's amazing, because according to research, you can have, I don't know, like 6 emotions in just 1 minute or something
Yeah.
like that. So and again, maybe you're at home and you're like, yeah, sometimes it's like, oh, I feel good, and then I'll cry, and then I laugh. So it's about emotional intelligence and how you manage your emotions, and you don't let them manage you and your life, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's interesting. You're talking about reading a book. Yeah, as you were speaking, I remembered a quote that I read in a book. I don't know, remember the book itself, but I remember this quote that said, "Your emotions are like your children. When they come, they want your attention. You have to sit with them for a while, and then they pass through you, and then you feel better after a very short space of time. But the problem is that most of the time we push those emotions away. We don't want to experience them, and
Mhm.
then they want more of our attention, and the more you push them away, the more they come."
Mhm.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, the story that I told you about, like, my headaches, it was 3 months, terrible migraine, and I didn't know what to do. I couldn't function. Just at night when I was sleeping, I didn't have the migraines. And it was because I was not managing my emotions, because I was not talking, I was not communicating with my ex-husband everything that I felt. And that caused me a physical problem. So
Mm,
I do recommend that we deal with the emotions. And when I this new system that I built for divorce or breaking up women, or who are navigating a divorce or a breakup,
mm.
I talk about grieving, and
Yeah,
grieving with intention. Feel it. Feel
yeah.
all the emotions. Cry, yell, scream. I remember, the first month I was singing and crying. Like,
Mm,
yes, I was really sad. I knew it was a tough situation. It was a challenging situation because my life as
mm.
I knew it was
It's
over.
gone.
So I needed to grieve that, just
Yeah,
like when you lose somebody.
yeah, it's so true. So, what
Mhm.
are your personal wellness rituals that keep you grounded?
So many. So I don't know if you can see me, but I'm standing, right? So I move
Mhm.
a lot. So I
Right,
I have lots of energy, and I think movement. So every day, no matter what, I exercise almost every day. And
right.
if I don't have an hour, Jetru, to exercise, I do it 5 minutes. For example, today I
Yeah,
woke up early. I went to my co-working space. So when I ate, I just walk for 10 minutes, you know.
right,
So movement for me, at least 6 days a week. And if not, I'm working standing up. So
right,
that's one thing.
right.
Every day, as soon as I
So,
wake up, I meditate. And that has changed my life. And I
yeah,
started meditating maybe 8 years ago, not so long ago. In my
okay.
40s. And so I do it 10 minutes, 20 minutes, as long as I have, I do it.
Yes, that's
I
awesome.
Yes, and I practice gratitude as well. So when I wake up, I open, my curtains, and I'm like, "Good morning," just like this. And then I go
Mhm.
to my plants. You can see one here that wanted
Right,
to be with me. And I say, "Good morning, plantita," in Spanish. And then even I say good morning to my fake plants.
I
And then
love
I
it.
go through everything, and I'm like, okay, you know, I I'm grateful because of the things that I have, and even the things that I don't have. Like, I've been separated, divorced for 4 years, and I don't have a relationship. And then I'm like, well, I'm grateful because I get the chance to work on my business and to impact more women because I have the time.
Mhm.
So
Yeah,
that's
that
like a
positive
mindset shift.
thinking is just awesome.
Yeah.
Such a difference. So let's finish the interview with two questions.
Okay.
And the questions are a bit of a thought experiment. In the one, I'm going to teleport you back into the past, and
Hmm.
we are going to go and meet the younger you.
Hmm.
This younger woman who found herself in the middle of a crisis, has lost her family, her home, her husband, her children, and is having to reinvent her life all over again. Just in case there's a woman who's in this situation right now who's listening to this podcast, if you could go back and give her three nuggets of wisdom, what would those three nuggets of wisdom be based on what life has taught you up until this point?
Okay. So first one, it's about self-love. Love yourself. Everything that you need is inside you. I think sometimes our limiting belief, the one who that block us to fulfill our dreams, is the lack of self-love. So I would say love yourself. The second one would be something that I read in a story, a king and a ring and a message in the ring. And the message said, "This too shall pass." And I think that's wow. Everything just it's just like this. Everything will pass. So this is temporary. And the third thing would be take care of yourself, take care of your body, take care of your mindset, take care of your emotions, because everything matters. That's it. That's my three.
Absolutely wonderful. Yeah, you're so right. The only constant in life is change. Nothing
Mhm.
stays the same.
Yeah.
Things are forever evolving and changing at every minute. Now let's go into the future, and we are going to go and meet the 90-year-old you.
The
And she's
90. Yes.
90 years old and she's still moving,
I'm
probably
going
on
to
a
live that long.
course.
Yes.
If we could go and meet this wise woman who has led you all your life to the age of 90, what would you say to her when you finally meet her? And I'll tell you why I like to ask this question, because some women miss the question.
Okay.
A lot of women don't realize that the wise woman is already in us.
Yeah.
She's that quiet voice that guides us, that whispers, say yes, say no, go left, go right, grab the opportunity, don't. What will you say to your wise woman when you finally meet her at the age of 90?
Wow, that's a interesting question. Why would I say to my 90-year-old? Maybe I would say, old Janita, my life has been amazing up until now. 51 years old, and it was been amazing. And every adversity, every turn was meant to be. And I cannot just wait to my other 49 years old, 39, and all the things that I'm going to learn. That's it.
Absolutely wonderful. Thank you so much for coming online and sharing your story with our community today. Now, I have your websites at the bottom of the screen. Is that the best way that people can get hold of you?
Yeah, that's it. Or my email, it would be info@yanirapuy.com as well.
Fantastic. And thank you to everybody who tuned in today. The Her Story Circle is not just a podcast. We are a social impact movement that brings you the story and voices of women from all over the world. Today, we had a story that originated from Venezuela all the way to the United States, then to Colombia, and back to the US. So I'll be back again tomorrow, everybody, with yet another amazing guest. In the meantime, have a fantastic day, morning, or evening, wherever you are in the world, and bye for now. And thanks again for the interview. Don't go away. Thank you for tuning into the Her Story Circle podcast. I hope today's story has inspired you to believe in the power of our stories and the difference you can make in the world when you use your voice. I'm Gertrude Mache, and it's been an honor to share this space with you, where voices from all walks of life come together to weave a rich tapestry of diverse perspectives. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review our podcast to help us share these stories with more listeners. Follow us on social media by looking for the Her Story Circle podcast for more updates. And join us tomorrow for another episode filled with courage, resilience, and empowerment. Remember, your story matters, and together we're building a stronger, more inclusive world. Until next time, keep making her story. Absolutely
Yay!
wonderful.